Something huge is happening in the Marvel Universe right now, something that fans have been waiting for, speculating about, and desperately hoping would come true for years. After what felt like an eternity of rumors, leaks, and clickbait, it's finally official. Chris Evans is returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's right, this is no longer theory or wishful thinking. The biggest movie news outlets in the United States have confirmed it. But how is this return even possible? In which film will we see him again? Is it just a cameo, or will he have a much larger role? And what about Sam Wilson? Will he be handing back the shield? Today, let's break down every piece of information, every rumor, and all the wild possibilities about the return of Captain America himself. Get ready, because the hype is absolutely real. Music transitions the Endgame era. A bittersweet farewell. Let's go back to the unforgettable impact of Avengers: Endgame. That movie was nothing less than an emotional roller coaster. Every fan remembers the anxiety, the tears, and the cheers as the saga that began over a decade ago reached its epic conclusion. We witnessed massive sacrifices, like Tony Stark giving his life for the universe and Black Widow making her ultimate choice, and of course, the bittersweet moment when Steve Rogers finally decided to hang up his shield and pursue his own happiness. Those final scenes hit us right in the heart, and it was a strange mix of satisfaction and nostalgia for the era of the original Avengers, those classic, iconic characters who made Marvel what it is today. But here's the thing, Marvel knows exactly how much the fans cherish those original heroes. That's why the internet exploded when rumors started flying that Scarlett Johansson might return as Black Widow in Thunderbolts, and official sources have already confirmed Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as a variant of Tony Stark in Avengers: Secret Wars. Now, with Chris Evans' comeback, it feels like we're getting the band back together. If you're feeling overwhelmed by this news, you're definitely not alone. Honestly, who could have predicted that these legends would return for another round? A massive community moment before we dive deeper. I need your help. This is the final week for the iBest Awards, and every vote counts double. Imagine our nerd community, where we talk about everything from Goku and anime to Marvel and DC, breaking records and bringing home 8 trophies. If every single one of you watching votes in all 8 categories below, we'll do something historic. So please take a moment, scroll down, and vote for us. You're not just supporting the channel, you're part of something much bigger. Let's do this together. Chris Evans, the reluctant hero, returns back to Captain America. Chris Evans has always been very careful about his legacy as Steve Rogers. In every interview, whenever rumors swirled about his possible return, he insisted that he would only come back for a truly compelling reason, never for money or simple nostalgia. He's always made it clear, the story and the character come first. There's even that famous story where he snuck into a public screening of Avengers: Endgame to watch the audience reaction during the scene where Cap lifts Mjolnir. Imagine witnessing the crowd go wild for your own character. Evans said it was one of the most incredible moments of his career, something no paycheck could ever replace. Now the word is out, Chris Evans is set to return in Avengers: Secret Wars, scheduled for release on May 1st, 2026. Mark your calendars, because this is going to be a monumental event in the Marvel Universe. The excitement is through the roof. Kevin Feige and the entire Marvel team know exactly what they're doing, bringing back the heart and soul of the Avengers for what promises to be one of the biggest movies ever. So what does this all mean? But before we all start celebrating, let's talk about what's really going on. Neither Marvel Studios nor Chris Evans have officially stated which version of the character he'll play. Could it be Steve Rogers as Captain America? Or could we see him return in a completely different role, maybe even as a villain, or as a multiversal variant? Remember, Robert Downey Jr. is reportedly coming back as a variant Tony Stark, known as Victor Von Doom, yes, Dr. Doom. So it's entirely possible that Evans could appear as an alternate version of Steve Rogers or even as someone else entirely. Imagine if he reprises his old role as the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four universe in Deadpool's next film, or if we get to see 2 Captain Americas on screen together, one old, one new. And let's not forget that, according to the comics, there have been times when both Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson have served as Captain America at the same time. It's rare, but it happens. So don't be surprised if the next Avengers movies feature multiple shields, multiple timelines, and multiple heroes all fighting side by side. That's the magic of Marvel's multiverse storytelling. Anything is possible, and every wild theory could become reality. The fate of Steve Rogers and the Marvel multiverse, and then there's the big question about Steve Rogers himself. At the end of Endgame, he was an old man who had finally found peace with Peggy Carter. Chris Evans has said he's hesitant to touch that perfect ending, but with time travel, multiverses, and Marvel magic, who's to say we can't see that character return? Maybe as a wise mentor, maybe as a fighter from another universe, maybe even as the same Steve Rogers we know and love who takes up the shield one last time in a different timeline. Nothing is off the table, especially with Avengers, Secret Wars and Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, both set to be directed by the Russo brothers, directors who know these characters inside and out, and who love working with Chris Evans. There are even rumors that the Russo brothers want to reunite as many original Avengers as possible for these upcoming movies. With their passion for the franchise and their history with Steve Rogers, you can be sure they have something truly epic planned. Will Chris Evans return as Captain America, Human Torch, or someone totally unexpected? Will we see Steve Rogers teaming up with Sam Wilson, or even going head-to-head in an epic battle? The speculation is endless, and that's what makes it so exciting. The return of the Marvel Legends right now, my hype levels are through the roof. I mean, can you feel it? This is the kind of news that makes you want to jump out of your chair, call every Marvel fan you know, and rewatch every single Avengers film all over again. The sense of nostalgia, the anticipation of seeing these legendary characters return, it's truly a special time to be a fan. Marvel is going all in, bringing back everything that made us fall in love with these stories in the first place. So what do you think about this news? Which role do you believe Chris Evans will play? Will he reclaim the shield, or will we see a new version of the character entirely? Drop your theories and your hype in the comments. Let's make some noise, because this is a celebration for all of us. And don't forget, vote for us in all 8 categories for the iBest Awards, because together we're making history. Make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for the next deep dive, where I'll break down all the possible scenarios for Steve Rogers' future in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thanks for being here, thanks for your support, and as always, stay nerdy. See you in the next video.